Zach and Brandon.
Zach and Brandon.
Zach and Brandon.
And this is Completely Biased.
Completely biased.
Completely biased.
With Zach and Brandon.
And away we go.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, Brandon.
How you doing?
Been better. How about
Yeah.
you?
I have been better too. I think we've had a pretty bad draft day for the first round.
We're recording this. It's 11/19, Thursday, the 28th, draft day.
Starring Julia Roberts, I believe.
Jennifer Gardner.
Jennifer Gardner. I always get those two mixed up. And Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Field of Dreams.
Other films.
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
Tin Cup.
And Batman, I believe.
He was in Batman.
No, that was Michael Keaton. Yeah.
They look the same.
Yeah, they're the same guys.
Anyway, welcome to Completely Biased.
It's good to have us back, you know.
I'm Zach Crutcher along with Brandon Kelly.
We tried reviving this back in November. It took another 5 months.
Yeah, YouTube was a pain. We got to get on Spotify.
We got
to start cranking out all the podcast platforms, so it's easier for us, easier for the fans to access it, because listeners are listening. We just gotta
commit
and find better ways to what.
Sorry, I was gonna say, did you see we gained like 8 subscribers? We're
No,
at
I did.
45, 46 now.
Growing
We're
slowly but
growing.
surely.
Yeah, that last episode we were at 36, and now we're at 45. So we're doing something right, even after
Something's
a year.
working. Yeah,
Yeah.
something's working.
So we're at episode 8. We're back on track.
Yeah, this is gonna
But
be a
somber.
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting podcast.
Yeah, and I would like to let you take the floor, Zach, and on why that would be.
Well, as we already talked, it's draft day. I can't speak for Brandon, but for me, this is, as a football fan, one of my favorite days of the year. At least I thought. That sounded really... Because it's that one day a year where, there's hope. Your team's going to add pieces, no matter if you're the Lions, if you're the Rams, whoever, you're going to add a piece that's going to help your team improve. And it gives every team a chance, gives every team hope. I think for both of us, but particularly on my end, It did not go as planned tonight. Went in with the Titans having the 26th pick. Seemed like, okay, draft an O-lineman, maybe another receiver to help out the offense, maybe a quarterback. Draft unfolded. Next thing you know, get a good old tweet from Adam Schefter saying, blockbuster, A.J. Brown is a Philadelphia Eagle. It hurts to say.
It hurts to say. Got
traded for a first-round pick and a third-round pick.
Which he is not worth at all. He should have been 2 first-round picks.
Now, initially, I agree with you. I think the deal breaker in this is first-round pick plus you're paying him the contract.
Yeah.
That has to count for something because AJ's not going to – what's the point in them trading for AJ if you're Philly if you're only getting him for 1 year?
Yeah.
You don't make that trade unless you have the contract extension.
Yeah, that he wanted.
Right. But it's really, really disappointing. I'm a lot better now.
You went off for a second it was like a freaking drama, like Gilmore Girls going on for a second. Like Kim Kardashian just said something, you had to storm out of the room, and the camera had to catch up with you.
Well, you don't expect it. Even with all the talk circulating all throughout both sides, it's been a deal's going to get resolved by the time training camp comes.
Yeah,
July is when the Titans get a deal done. Just obviously wasn't the case here. I think the receiver market, the way that it's skyrocketed, the money Tyreek Hill's making, Devontae Adams making. I mean, Christian Kirk's the third highest paid receiver in the league.
Which is crazy.
He's getting $84 million. I guess AJ's topped that now.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Agreed. Anybody over Christian Kirk. He hasn't really proved that worth. But still I thought they'd work it out, given this franchise's history of struggling to develop the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
This is the best receiver we've had since the team moved to Tennessee. And the one time you finally get that piece, you trade him away. You can't work out a deal. For a guy that You know, he's a game changer. He's a leader in the locker room. The fans love him. Coaches love him. Another frustrating part in this, Mike Vrabel literally went on the Rich Eisen show 3 weeks ago. And let me get the direct quote because I saw it today. And
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
he basically said, as long as I'm the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, A.J. Brown is going to be on my team. That doesn't mean shit anymore.
No, which just shows you the political answers that coaches always give. You can never listen to them.
No,
You can never listen
as
to a head
cliche
coach.
as it is, everyone says it. It's a business.
Yeah,
And
but he's a top 5. Okay, you know I'm an Ole Miss guy. He's an Ole Miss.
Right.
He's an Ole Miss player.
Right.
Which I'm equally pissed off. And you can't.
you an Eagles fan now?
No. I mean, yeah, I'll pull for AJ, but I don't give a fuck about the Eagles. You know, I always say I'm never drafting any Eagles in my fantasy team.
Yeah, you're not an
I
Eagles
hate the
guy.
Eagles.
You're not an Eagles guy.
Yeah. Fuck the Eagles. I'll fight you to the day.
It's
I
okay.
die.
We all have those teams that, and I'm not going to get too off track. We all have those teams that just don't like them.
Yeah.
Steelers for me. I can't do the Steelers.
The Lions, I absolutely despise. I love their
They
fans.
ain't,
'cause
done,
they're
they ain't
respect-
done nothing to you.
Dude, they're so
What
sad.
have the Lions done to you?
They're just so sad, man.
So you hate them?
Yeah, like you can't respect them if they look drab. Like blue and gray is a horrible color scheme.
That's what.
Like they don't look like a winning franchise at all. You had 2 of the greatest players in recent memory, Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders, and you got 1 playoff win to show
So
for
you
it.
hate them.
Yes. And then you see Matthew Stafford leave the Detroit Lions. The first year he's gone, he wins a Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
that's freaking crazy. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
I don't like the Eagles. AJ, you got to sign him. You got to pay him. At least drop, like you said, I said Tannehill for him so you can make room to keep Derek and AJ. You got to build around those two. Those
It's
are
a
your
complicated situation.
I don't-
They're locked up with Tannehill at least through this year.
which is stupid.
Well,
You don't-
again, he maxed out when right after the playoff run, right after they made the playoffs again, he and Henry both maxed out their worth, which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But now you're paying for it. It's what happens. Your team wins, you pay good players, you send some players away because you can't afford them anymore. That's the hardest part. That's why, I mean, there's talks the Titans might still get a quarterback because you can't pay that much money because then you can't keep pieces to have a winning team. That's why Russell Wilson's in Denver right now because Seattle, after a while, just couldn't build a team when they're paying their quarterback $40, $50 million a year.
Yeah.
It's going to happen to every team.
Mahomes.
It's going to happen to Mahomes. It's going to happen to whoever's next down the line. That's just the way it is.
It's already happened to Mahomes with Hill.
I mean, that's why Cincinnati's going to be good for at least the next few years because they don't have to pay Burrow.
Yeah.
Herbert in L.A., they're going to be good for a few years. You
Yeah.
know? You
It's-
get these star QBs. Now, granted, this year, and we'll get into the draft, I don't know if that star QB's there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. But it's just still hard to process.
It's just like you don't expect it because, it's always like that thing is like, there's a star player who's sitting out, but he's going to get paid.
Well, and also the talk going into tonight, if it was any receiver getting traded, it was going to be Debo.
Yeah.
That's been the talk all week is Debo Samuel wants out, which,
I don't get, honestly.
well, apparently all these receivers, AJ has the same agent as Debo, who has the same agent as Hollywood Brown, who has the same agent as DK Metcalf.
Yeah, so that guy's
So-
just money.
It seems like these receivers are just going to hold out until they find someone that's going to give them their money.
I don't know. I mean, I get the Tyreek Hill one. He's like the biggest weapon of all time.
Well,
Debo
and I mean,
still
you
had
knew
one good
eventually
year.
they're not going to be able to keep Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey. They already paid Mahomes.
I mean, I thought Kelsey because he's just getting up there. Like he's
I mean,
33.
yeah, but how many? You can always find a speed receiver. Granted, not like Tyreek Hill, but it's hard to find what Kelsey does. That's a hard
Yeah.
thing to replace, especially at tight end.
I mean, you got what was it? Andrews, Kittle, and Kelsey are like the 3 tight ends in the league.
That's about it.
And I said Andrews. But
Right.
That's like, yeah, okay, I can get that. But like at the same time, like I said, you see AJ take Tennessee out of his bio. You see him doing all this stuff.
Well, he
and
was
then-
working out. I mean, now looking back at it, the writing was completely on the wall in the past week. He removed Tennessee. Last week, he was working out with Jalen Hurts. I mean, that is as clear of a sign as it can be
Yeah.
that something was going on in the background.
Which honestly, how does this affect his fantasy draft now? Because Jalen Hurts is not the quarterback to throw the football.
No, it's not like Tannehill was exactly the best either.
He's a better
but,
passer,
I
though.
mean, Philadelphia's a run-first offense.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you also look now, they've got A.J. Brown, they've got Devontae Smith. I mean, they've got – that's not a bad core to have with that running game with Dallas Goedert solid.
I know, but it's just the quarterback. He's not a strong thrower.
Well, and they still – all the maneuvering they did today, they still have 2 first-round picks next year to where if they need to go up and get a Bryce Young or a Stroud from Ohio State or whoever the next QB is, they can go and do it.
I don't know. All I know is that was like the moment of the draft that everybody's going to remember.
Oh, this is going to be the moment from this draft.
Yeah.
Not a lot went on, and we can just go from there.
Look at the names.
I mean,
the first overall pick. I mean, who the fuck is Trayvon Walker? Like, I'm gonna be real. I had no idea who the fuck the first overall pick was when going into this. I didn't know him until about 3 days ago, and I saw him creeping up into the top 4. I was like, who the fuck is this dude? Like,
so the NFL draft tonight. I don't know how much research you did before this.
I did quite a bit of research. I'm not gonna lie. I was
Right.
looking because I kept wanting to see where Matt Corral was,
Right.
which is another topic for discussion.
Yeah, so let's just dive.
Yeah.
Let's go into the draft in general. Surprising that Walker went first overall. It seems like
Aiden Hutchinson.
you would have thought it's Aiden Hutchinson. You would have thought maybe protection for Trevor Lawrence. Who knows? But that's their guy.
On Walker. What
Yeah.
did he even do? And like, I didn't even
He
hear
had
about
6
him.
sacks, I think, in his career at
Oh.
Georgia. From what I've heard, it's the upside. It's he's a freak athlete. You can put him in different spots on the defense. He can do a bunch of different things.
You know who you can put on different sides of the defense? Matt Corral.
Okay.
You could put Jordan Davis. Why
okay.
wasn't Jordan Davis? He was the talk. He was the Heisman hopeful for Georgia. Why wasn't he considered for the first
That's the
overall
very
pick?
interesting thing is, like, he went before Davis. There were some guys who, I mean, I'm not as big on Georgia as, I know Alabama. I know a few SEC. Kobe Dean still didn't get drafted. That's surprising. I guess there's medical issues there.
What happened to him?
I think it's something with the shoulders.
Ah,
But it's
that's
still,
fine.
you watch the tape, dude's the best player on the field.
I mean, he was always the talk. It was Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean.
Right, I
And then
mean-
Nolan Smith were on that team. That was the 3.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia, I think they had 5 first-round picks tonight on defense.
What was the thing we looked at? We looked at like the top linebackers, and like 13 of them were for Georgia.
Yeah, it was 13.
Well, it was something like that. It was like Georgia, and then like Cincinnati, and then it was some weird like order of just like straight Georgia on defense.
Yeah, so they had Trevon Walker, obviously went first overall. They had, shout out my boy, Icky Shuffle, that got drafted by the Panthers.
Our boy, that's our guy.
Yeah.
My boy Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. That was my guy.
So, your lock, you said we went into this. Who's your stud of the draft that you're going to die on in the hill that he's going to be the guy?
Sauce Gardner. He's gonna be a freaking stud.
Because?
Okay. He had the stat. He never let up a touchdown in like 1,000 pass attempts in his entire like pass plays. In 3 years, he never let up a single touchdown. He locked down Jamison Williams. He played well against Notre Dame. And then I can't name anybody else that Cincinnati played during that time. But that's still an impressive stat. You know how hard it is to not let up a touchdown, especially in college football when you're going against D1 athletes. Like, that's intense. And he's 6'3". Apparently he has like a 72 in athleticism. I don't know what that means.
You were really we watched the NFL Network broadcast, and you were really going in on the whole they have their next gen stats or whatever, and you were really going in on the athleticism portion.
The first overall pick was an 80 overall. Like with the 66 athleticism. Like, that's horrible.
Well,
Why is he your first overall pick? You're
upside. He's got the upside.
I have upside. That doesn't make me a first round pick. I want to see production. I want to see like 20 sacks. I want to see like fucking Derek Thomas stats.
So for you, it would have been Aiden Hutchinson first overall.
No, I would have gone like Evan Neal. If I was a Jags, I would have protected my future franchise quarterback who just threw 17 interceptions and 12 touchdowns. I'm not going to grab some. I don't care. I give a fuck about defense. I can go second round for defense. I'm not going some dude I've never fucking heard of until 3 days ago.
5 Georgia defenders went in the first round.
God, I mean, I get it.
That's got to be a record.
I get it. But, like, they built the defense. But, like, why was Jordan Davis not the top pick and this Trayvon Walker guy was? And it's just like, I don't know. Who was your stud? I forgot. Who was your
Well,
stud?
it was until where he got drafted. It was Jameson Williams. And that might be, you can say biased because I'm a Bama fan or not, but he's got a different level of speed than most receivers have. His ability to catch and run, to get open downfield. The guy, I mean, turn on the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
He would have been a top 5 pick had it not been for the ACL.
Yeah.
Now, I go in that saying, he got drafted by Detroit.
That's where careers go to die, man.
So, I mean, he's got Jared Goff throwing to him, so I don't know where it goes from here, but he was my guy that was like, okay, you get him, you got a really good chance because the dude's got potential to be, I'm not going to go Jamar Chase level.
I'd go like Tyreek. Not Tyreek.
No, but, I mean, he's got,
How tall is he?
I don't know.
You got to know. You're a Bama guy.
I know he's got the potential to be a wide receiver 1 for a long time in this league.
Okay. Well, that's a fair thing to say.
So going through, I mean, we knew going into this draft that this wasn't the best on paper, but it really...
There's a lot of question marks.
It went on there for a little bit. It's like, hey, man, let's go out and just
Throw a tennis
throw
ball.
a tennis ball, do something, keep our mind off of this. So Trevon Walker went to Jacksonville. Because of that, Hutchinson went to Detroit. Detroit getting Hutchinson and Jameson Williams. Not bad.
That's good steals, yeah.
Houston took Derek Stingley over Sauce Gardner. Took Stingley third, which
I don't get.
they're banking off that national championship year, it looks like,
Yeah.
because he hasn't been the same since. Kayvon Thibodeau went to the Giants. Evan Neal went to the Giants as well. That's not a bad haul.
Nah.
Both New York teams.
I don't believe in Theobald, though, because of that branding thing. He just cares about his brand and football.
Well, and his tape's not as great as you would think it is.
yeah. It's
That's
like
another
Rashawn
one
Gary.
of those potential. Yeah, that's actually a really good comparison,
Yeah.
Brandon. Rashawn
Yeah.
Gary, where, I mean, it's all name.
Yeah.
The tape, he does some stuff, but it's nothing crazy. There's not enough effort put into the tape.
Yeah. It's like Robert Gimdichi when he was coming out of Ole Miss. He had 3 sacks his senior year or something like that and like 10, 15 tackles. And I was like, dude, this guy's stat line does not look like a first-round pick.
Right. First wide receiver off the board goes to Atlanta. It's Drake London out of USC. I've just heard he's like a freak athlete, go up and get it, box you out type of guy. This is when the Matt Corral hype came from Brandon at 9 with Seattle.
Yeah, so we went over to Zach's girlfriend's house to watch this game.
Mm-hmm.
This draft, which is technically a game day for us because we treat it like a game day.
Yeah. Stupidly after tonight.
So I saw a picture back around the combine where Corral was shaking hands with Pete Carroll and the owner, and for some reason he was with Lane Kiffin's dad, but they were shaking hands, and I was like, all right, this guy's a lock for the Seattle, like, 'cause they just traded Russell Wilson, they got DK Metcalf over there, they're going to get that Ole Miss connection, it's going to be a lock. So I got hyped up, I went in to get
At
a refill.
9?
Yeah. That's where you
No
draft
quarterback
quarterbacks.
has gone off the board yet when you know that Pickett and Willis are the top 2.
So we think.
So we know one win.
Corral beat Willis head-to-head at Ole Miss.
Yeah, he plays at Liberty.
And
What
whose fault is that?
What Corral do in
Whose
that
fault is
game?
that?
What Corral do in that game?
I can't remember. I think he threw
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
Uh,
And what did Willis do? He threw 2 picks, I believe.
yeah, he's going up
Fact
against
check
an
me. You
SEC
have your
defense.
fuck-
We're not.
Who
We're,
gives a fuck?
We're not going
You're
against head to
supposed to be a
head.
top quarterback.
We're going that. Why is Cole Strange going in the first round?
Yeah, who the fuck is Cole Strange? We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I call on his girlfriend. I'm like, I was getting a water, and I was like, hey, this is where Corral's going. Because she knew I was like, this is a Heisman quarterback. That's all she knew about him. She thought his last name was Heisman. And so I call her in. It's a huge thing. I was putting like lock.
You know, I knew like he's not going 9.
I thought it was legit. Like,
Brandon, he's no.
what's the history of Seattle's picks? They pick like some dude from James Madison University, and then like a Division III Ivy League school where you like majoring
That's
in finance.
never happened. You're just thinking of they took a guy from Texas Tech.
Something
and you think
like
that it's
that.
Ivy League.
It was some guy like we were like, what the? It's like that.
No,
Falcons.
they always take a player that you're like, it seems like they reached.
Yeah, like he's
It's a
projected
top
7th
10
round.
pick where no quarterback had been taken yet.
And that doesn't mean he's not going to get taken. But I digress. He didn't get taken, and it was embarrassing. I forgot who they took. They took like Chris Olave,
They took Charles Cross.
Charles. Yeah, the fucking state guy. I remember that. Yeah. So I got the state right. I just didn't get the school.
Yeah, you got Mississippi.
Yeah. So that's another thing. My draft night was based around Matt Corral. It was just like 2019 with DK Metcalf. I wanted him to go in the first round, and he fell out of the first round. But the two people that fell out of the first round for Ole Miss back in the day, A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, both tore the fuck up. And now it's going to be Matt Corral, the third player to fall from the first round to the second round. It's going to be Matt Corral, and he's going to tear it up. And you can mark my damn words on this podcast.
Okay.
Sodergren, put the timestamp right here in the comments.
Craddock.
Yeah. Put the fucking thing right here in the comments. Matt Corral will be the best quarterback out of this draft class.
No bias.
No bias at all. He's got the heart. He's got the determination. He's a team player. He's the only. Pickett sat out. All right. Sam Howell, I believe, sat out. Don't call me on that.
You really don't like Sam Howell.
Matt Corral played. He got hurt for his team in the Sugar Bowl when he was supposed to be a top 10 pick. And guess what? That shows heart. And he has the talent. And when he was healthy before the Tennessee game on that last play where he broke his ankle or did whatever it is ankle, he was a Heisman front runner. And you can fucking mark my words, if the Heisman was somehow given out in October, Matt Corral would have won.
No bias.
No bias. But yeah, that's my draft night.
So where's he going to go? What's the best fit for Corral?
Seattle, man. Get that Corral to DK. And
So you're telling me they wouldn't take Willis?
No, I think
Willis is still on the board, which is surprising because only Pickett went, because it seemed like a perfect fit.
I think
Literally.
Willis will go to, excuse me, I was about to cough, the Saints. I think he'll go somewhere like that.
I think the Saints are good.
Who do they get? Chris Olave?
Yeah, they got Jameis and Andy Dalton as the backup. They still got, what's his name, the dual threat running back.
Taysom Hill?
Yeah, I think they're good.
Do you think Jameis Winston's going to lead them to a championship?
No, but they thought the same thing last year.
Yeah, and why? Okay. Are they
And you
just
know
gonna wait
why
for-
they didn't? Because he tore his leg.
Okay, fair point.
They were doing okay.
Well,
And then obviously when you put in Trevor Siemian, yeah, it's going to go downhill.
Okay, what if Malik Willis goes to the Panthers? The Panthers.
They don't have a pick till like 90th. Like this was like their
Yeah.
one. This was their one pick.
The Broncos? Well, they just got Russell Wilson.
You're going down the list. There's not a lot.
Yeah.
I honestly thought the Titans were gonna. They might still take him tomorrow.
I
Titans
like
traded
Corral
back
there.
because of course they traded back because what makes the night worse than trading your best receiver, getting his replacement,
Which
and then
is
trading
basically
back.
just a discount Costco version of A.J. Brown.
Everybody's saying he's going to be the next A.J. Brown, which that puts so much pressure on Traylon Burks. Like, he's good. I love his tape. He torched Alabama. Like,
He torched Ole Miss.
Like, he's got all the potential to be a great... But he's walking into a really crappy situation.
Yeah.
You're replacing the guy, and now you're the guy. Can he handle his expectations? I don't know, but... It doesn't look good. The Titans haven't done a good job of late developing their rookies out of the jump. Isaiah Wilson, Farley still hasn't really played.
Yeah.
He hasn't played at all. Like, it's not looking
Derrick Henry.
second round pick, but he took
Yeah.
time. He took time too. He was behind DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
I mean, Corey Davis never really got going till the year before he left, where you have to pay him. Like, eventually, the only rookie that really stepped up out of the go was AJ.
Yeah. You know why? Because like you said, he's the alpha guy. He plays with an edge. He gets in your face and he makes fights happen. He gets in the defenders' heads. He's a goon. He's a beast.
I agree. And again, I don't know a lot about Traylon Burks. I'll be honest with you. I just know he's a big body, go up and catch it. They said he's got the same build as AJ.
Yeah, he's 2 inches taller than AJ.
So, I mean, seems, if you're going off that, I've seen from the Bama tape, he breaks tackles. He's got some speed. He's got to get better with his hands, catching the ball. But, I mean, now, just looking at the offense, the O-line's still a work in progress because we lost Saffold and we lost our right tackle, Quessenberry.
Yeah.
Tight end's better now with Hooper, I guess, but it's definitely an upgrade. Your number one receiver now is Robert Woods and Traylon Burks, and then backing them up is Westbrook Akina and Des Fitzpatrick. Like,
you fucked
Derrick
up,
Henry better load up.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna also affect not having AJ on the outside is gonna make them crowd the box because they don't have to worry about an outside threat.
Well,
So they're just gonna shut down Derrick Henry.
apparently contract talks. I saw the Robinson and Vrabel interview after the draft. Talks got to the point where they knew they couldn't reach an agreement on a deal. I guess AJ was asking for too much and they were willing to pay. And I guess from that point, you might as well get value for him.
Yeah.
You might, because if you let him play this year, you get nothing for him. He'll just walk.
Yeah.
You might as well get a first-round pick and go from there.
Why don't you just wait the year out, let him finish out his rookie contract, and then just after the end of the year, just drop Tannehill, save the space, and then have AJ re-sign.
That's a fair point, but
Like, I don't know. I'm not a GM.
you have to find who's that backup QB. You throw Corral out of this, because I know if I say Corral, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, he's a backup. You want Desmond Ridder right now to be your next face of the franchise?
No, you can go.
Do you want Sam Howell to be? Who's out there? Baker?
No, I want one Baker.
Would you rather do that or go ahead and load up, try maybe next year? I don't know how next season's going to go for the Titans, but you got at least 2 QBs there that seem like better options than this class.
Yeah. I don't know. That was the shocker of the night, and it was.
Oh, I mean, that's what made this. Again, the rest of this draft was garbage.
Go ahead and name off the list and just see how many mind fucks we had of who.
So again, we went already through the top 10. Charles Cross, the run on receivers where it was Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams. Olave to New Orleans. I mean, now him and Michael Thomas.
That's a deadly threat.
New Orleans will be better next year than people think.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis to Georgia. That's a good pick. Ravens, I hate that I'm saying this. They had a really good draft. They took the safety out of Notre Dame, Kyle Hamilton. The Commanders took Jahan Dotson, receiver, Penn State. That seems a little...
Don't even know who that is.
Well, that's what's also frustrating is, make that trade for AJ earlier in the top 10. They waited till after the run of the top 3 or 4 receivers, so you can't get one of those. You get no disrespect to Traylon Burks, but he's not in that same tier as Drake London, as Garrett Wilson, as Chris Olave, as Jameson Williams. He's in that second tier, and it's like, if you'd have done it earlier with another team that needed a receiver, who knows what would happen. You could have traded with Atlanta at 8.
Yeah.
Pair him up with Mariota. There you go. They take all our old Titans players anyway. Why not do it now?
Or you could just waited to trade with fucking 49ers and just do Devo to AJ.
Well, that wouldn't work because, again, it'd go back to a new deal, and it doesn't seem like the Titans want to do a new deal right now.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to. Lineman went to the Chargers, Zion Johnson. Burks obviously went to the Titans. After that, Saints took a tackle from Northern Iowa, Trevor Penning.
Yeah.
Northern Iowa got on the board. Tulsa got on the board. Cole Strange, Chattanooga, which really surprised me.
Cole Strange.
Yeah, that's a...
Sounds like a...
Bill Belichick knows something we don't know.
I don't know, dude. He always likes those picks.
But, I mean, even Pickett going at 20 to Pittsburgh, it's like, okay,
You expected it. That was my, lock of the draft.
Right.
You got to go market.
Only thing on here that was surprising to me is they were saying Jermaine Johnson is a top 10 pick, and he dropped to 26 with the Jets. So you look at the Jets, got him, Garrett Wilson, and Sauce Gardner. They had a really good draft.
Yeah.
They're probably one of the winners of this draft. You probably got to say the Eagles are probably winners of this draft.
Just because of the trade, yeah.
Oh, I mean, they locked up. That's what they needed. Jalen Hurts needed a bona fide number 1 receiver, which they might have another one in Devontae Smith, but it's not there yet.
Yeah.
Now the pressure's all on Hurts to where we gave you the pieces. Are you going to step up and lead us to the promised land, or are we going to have to find another option?
Which I think is going to lead to another option because he was almost benched this year, right?
Right. I mean, I had him as my fantasy quarterback. There were some slumps there. Granted, every week he'd have at least 20 points because he ran the ball, but watching his games, ugly.
Yeah.
It was ugly. And there was one game he played the Giants where he threw 3 or 4 interceptions. He had 2 fantasy points. He was awful.
Damn, dude.
He was terrible.
Yeah.
So, but this draft just, again, the takeaway is AJ because the rest of it is just meh.
Because we kind of, like, at pick 23, we just stopped paying attention.
Well, I mean, normally during that time it gets to that anyway, but even this year there wasn't
Any standout, like Trevor Lawrence's or
the QB runs where the QBs are going to go, like last year with Mac Jones and Lawrence. And
Fields.
Yeah.
The Fields dropping was the big one.
Right. It just wasn't there this year. And if it wasn't for the AJ trade,
I would forgot about this draft.
we even had this podcast. Like,
no, probably not.
Because there wouldn't be that much to talk about other than Corral.
Yeah, I mean, you look. This is my main thing of it. Like, you look at the first round picks of these past few years. You look like Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and then you go Baker Mayfield. Then you have fucking like Trayvon Walker. That doesn't sound you know what? It doesn't.
This is gonna be the Jeopardy question in a few years. Who was the first pick?
Can you name the top 5 of this year's draft? But who knows? Maybe that guy turns out to, like we were saying, turns out to be the next Trevor, like the
maybe so.
Lawrence Taylor. But till then, like I don't know. Like this draft just wasn't that really entertaining. Like we went outside and we mainly were focused on trying to find a tennis ball that we lost in a bunch of
Yeah,
leagues.
we were playing with the tennis ball and then we lost the tennis ball and
we were playing some goalie game.
We missed a couple of picks.
Yeah.
Only reason I came back is because the Titans were going to be on the clock and then they traded the pick because why not? Because it's not like people got to work tomorrow and won't be able to see the pick and I'm not frustrated.
Well, the draft I say was not a successful run at all, I would say.
It's the most disappointing
probably
draft in a while. Probably since I was like a kid.
2013 draft, maybe.
And even then you had the where's Manziel going to go? Like that at least made it semi-enticing. But no, this is a very disappointing draft.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, like when your highlight is a trade, I guess, is just like, I mean, I don't know. I can't think because I wasn't paying attention. I don't really have much to say after that. Besides Corral pissing me off not getting taken because I built my whole night after. I was talking to Bob, the guy I work for, about it, and I was like, "Hey, you gonna watch the draft? Corral's going somewhere." And he's like, "Oh, I'll watch the draft for that." So I got Bob to watch the draft. That poor bastard, because he thought our Ole Miss quarterback was going somewhere. I have to see him in like 3 days.
Oh, you'll be fine. There just wasn't any sizzle, though, either,
No.
like, towards the back end. Like, it was all linemen. It was all, like, safeties. Like, there's no receivers. Even in the back end, they went in the first part of the draft. No receivers, no one quarterback, no running backs. Like,
Oh, that's right. No running backs went.
well, I mean, Breece Hall and Isaiah Spiller aren't necessarily first round. I mean, it makes sense, but it's like there's no sex appeal to it.
Sex level.
Yeah, I know that was bad. Yeah, cut that, please. There's no sex appeal.
Yeah. I don't know. It was overall, I'd give it about a C.
Yeah,
And I feel bad for Rich Eisen, Charles Davis.
You don't feel bad for Charles Davis.
No, fuck Charles Davis. I hate that guy so much.
I'm not gonna say that. I respect Charles Davis. He's one of the good ones in the industry.
The only reason why I hate Charles Davis is because I'm mad and I have a really bad temper when it comes to those games. And I threw a pick, and he'd always start laughing his ass off. I'm like, the NFL rat tree, you got to run the routes, and, got to get the 9 route when you go deep. It's like, fuck off, Charles Davis. Piece of shit. But those guys got 2 days left, right?
Yeah, Saturday.
So those poor bastards. They had to sit there another, like, oh, here comes Tyler Lindenbaum from Boston College.
Iowa.
I don't know. Iowa, yeah. So, I don't know. That's pretty much the draft.
I had good content going on the Instagram page for a while with the draft.
Yeah.
That was going. And then the A.J. Brown trade kind of just completely shut me out.
You're like, I'm not fucking doing the Instagram now. I don't care anymore.
Oh, no. I mean, that was a quick depression that just reigned over me.
I just remember when you got the notification, it was like, holy shit. And you just went into instant Cobra. And you just went, no, and walked into the house.
Yeah.
It legit looked like a Desperate Housewives episode where, like, the camera's like,
How would
shaky.
you react if it's,
I don't know. I mean, shit, it's like, I don't know, Matt Corral.
when you get that text that, hey, Lane Kiffin's going to Michigan.
pissed me
Yeah,
off.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same type of, one of your core star players is leaving when all he's wanted to do is stay. He
He's
literally
young.
deleted a tweet saying, this is not my fault. I wanted to stay. Whatever reason, quote unquote, we can't get a deal done, which you know what he's saying.
Yeah. It's like, you guys don't respect my value.
Right.
I'm going to go
Like I
somewhere
said
else.
earlier, too, it's just the fact that this is the one position that we haven't been able to figure out. Even when we've been winning, we haven't been able to figure it out. I mean, Kevin Dyson and Justin Gage. Like, no, we had a bona fide stud receiver, and you let him get away.
Would you say he's the greatest receiver in Titans
100%.
history? Even Randy Moss? What about Kenny Britt?
Kenny Britt
Nate
Washington's probably better than Kenny Britt. Kenny Britt had better spurts, but he also injuries, immature, just couldn't be consistent. Nate Washington was consistent. It's just his peak wasn't as good as Kenny Britt's peak would be. Yeah. Nate Washington's that solid number 2, solid number 3 receiver.
Yeah. I mean, AJ in 3 years was already a freaking stud.
Right.
You can see it. If it wasn't for his
He took over the playoff game. He took over the 49er game. I mean, there's games where he just took over.
Yeah. And he played on what was it, that Instagram live video where he was in the hospital and he was like getting knee surgery?
Yeah.
He was supposed to be out week 2 of 2021 or something, 2020.
Right, he just kept playing.
He kept playing and got over 1,000 yards and like 11 touchdowns. Like, that shows he's worth $20 million a year. Like, I'm paying for that just to have him in the locker room.
Yeah. So rest in peace to my boy A.J. Brown. It's been
it's been real.
It's crazy to me that, I mean, it's been, what, 3 years?
Almost 4. 4 years when he was drafted around this time. It was 2019.
It's 2019, so it's been 3.
Damn. I was showing you.
It went by like that. I was there at the draft when he got drafted.
I was at Smoothie King, and he sent me the text, AJ the Titans in all caps, and I lost my freaking mind.
No, I mean, it's a... Gosh, dude.
I'm going to miss going to the Titans games and saying, AJ! Like, wearing the Ole Miss hoodie, and everybody knows I'm the Ole Miss guy in your section.
Right.
And sitting there, whenever AJ makes a catch, I jump up and, like, pointing at myself, like, that's my freaking boy. I'm going to miss doing that. I don't have that anymore. I have fucking Josh Reynolds or whatever the hell that guy's name is. Robert Woods. What do I have?
I mean, let's be real. You're not exactly a Titans fan. AJ just kind of made the deal sweeter for you.
That was amazing because we had common ground.
Right.
We all had something when AJ made a touchdown. You were happy. I was happy. It
right.
was just like, it was a great common ground. So,
well,
this is the last toddy-toddy to AJ in a Titans uniform. Unless they pull a Julius Peppers and bring him back after a few years.
Who knows? He's got a long career.
Yeah.
So, but that was the draft.
That was the draft. There's not really much to say after that.
No.
So, I guess that's the podcast.
Yeah, very quick, but we needed to, after what happened, I mean, I told you, as soon as it happened, I'm like, get me in, should have brought the mics, like, I'm ready now.
Yeah.
Calm down, I'm better.
And keep in mind, we're doing this at like 11:30, so it's at the end of the day. 11:55 is the time right now, so you got to keep that in mind.
Right.
So I think we did like a solid 30 minutes. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, but I mean, for this, that's totally fine. So this is our post-draft podcast, recap, depression pod, whatever you want to call it.
About to have a quick word from Julia Roberts. What was it?
What are you talking about?
What was the girl on draft day?
Jennifer Gardner.
Jennifer Gardner, not Julia Roberts.
Why are we having a word from her?
Because she was in draft day. She has to explain the Super Bowl with 2 minutes left.
Anyway.
I don't know.
It's getting late.
I'm getting delirious here.
Thank you for listening, checking us out on both either my YouTube channel or the Completely Biased YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out, I've got an Instagram page, Zach Crutcher Sports. Just got it going the last couple of days. Like I said, it was really churning out the content for the draft. I was ready for it, and then the A.J. Brown trade kind of broke me. But, going to keep it going, keep going strong, try to post stuff just about every day or so. So check that out. Again, keep supporting the podcast, guys. We really appreciate it, and we will have more podcasts in the near future, sooner than the last one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And also check out the Criticals on Spotify. They're the intro and outro songs, so go check them out. They're also on tour, so go follow them on Instagram and check out their tour dates. And other than that, I guess we'll.
You gonna plug drive-through? Or are you just gonna?
We have a drive-through alumni. We have a song coming out on April 30th. We have a few songs that have coming out. We're trying to get a song out a month. We have a few things lined up. It's gonna be great. Go give us a follow on Instagram. Go give us a listen on Spotify, and big things ahead for all. So this has been Completely Biased. Hot take on the NFL draft. Give it about a C-. What would you give it? Sigh.
I just saw the memes about AJ, and it's a Thanos meme. It's, did you get Traylon? Yes. What did it cost? Everything. And it's like, oh, sorry, I got the Spider-Man everywhere I go. I see him. Like, it's bad.
Well,
For
Hey.
Titans draft grade right now, it's like a
F minus.
I'm not gonna go F minus. You got a first round pick.
Yeah.
You got what you think is a replacement. It's just morale's low right now.
Yeah.
You got more. This is GM Zach talking. You got more draft capital than you had. You got a third round pick. You got a couple twos. We didn't have a second round pick. We now got a second round pick. Like going off draft capital, you did what you wanted to do, but what did it cost you?
Hey, you never know though. Could turn out for the best. You never know.
No.
AJ might be caught with a bunch of weed and turn into a Josh.
No, he
Gordon.
might get hurt again. Who knows?
Yeah, hopefully not. AJ, I love you. Please subscribe to the channel and come on and be a guest.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway, sponsored by the Cash App.
Sponsored by the Cash App.
All right, this has been Completely Biased. See you, Zach.
See you, Brandon.